pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What happened here, Michelle?
I don't know, they're working on here. They had to do something up there. The TV?
Did everybody have a chance to read Michelle's minutes? Michelle's minutes?
Of course.
Good. Excellent. I shouldn't even have to ask.
Some of us don't have jobs around here. We're desperate for stuff, you know?
Anybody have any comments or suggestions? If not, I'll take a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, so we had the public forum, which was sparsely attended, but I thought, we were organized for it. We had our act together, I thought, pretty well. I was a little disappointed in the turnout, but we got
Good
some
cookies, though.
good people, came, and I think we got some good feedback. So I wanted to give all the people who were at the stations a chance to speak about what they heard, what impressed them from the comments that you got, and what we can take from that and plug into this open space plan. So why don't we go around the room? David, we can start with you. And which station were you at again, and what did you?
Environmental.
Environmental, okay.
It was a habitat features map. People mostly had questions of, like, how come we had so many vernal pools that were not, they were not registered as vernal pools?
Mm-hmm.
And what it meant to register a vernal pool. And I really wasn't sure either, so I went and looked it up. And if you do that, it becomes like part of the Wetlands Act.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do anything to that location after that. So I don't know if people really want to jump into doing a registration of a vernal pool, but they're necessary. Other people were talking about the town beach. That seemed to be a big thing that keep.
Question, what constitutes a vernal pool?
It's the pool that kind of starts in the spring, spring runoff and whatnot, and that's where pollywogs and salamanders all hatch from. And then it might go dry during the summer,
Okay.
and then come back in the next
Is
spring.
there how are these things, how are they registered? Is it based on size? Is it based on the duration in terms of before it goes dry? Is it based on whatever wildlife might live there or adjacent
I think
to it?
all the above.
All the
I think
above.
there's criteria like that, that
Yeah,
has
so
to fall
there's
into a
a
certain
registration or a certification process.
certification, yes.
That's through the state?
Somebody qualified needs to go out and prepare a report, submit it to the state.
Somebody qualified.
Right, like a botanist or a wetland specialist or somebody
Okay,
like that.
all right. And then they go with Department of Environmental Protection, I assume?
Probably conservation and recreation, I would
Conservation,
think.
yeah.
right.
Other
So
questions?
that I think leads to a recommendation that we could pass on to the Conservation Commission
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
look into getting more of these
And I know,
potential vernal pools certified as actual vernal pools.
right, we have a couple on the land trust land, but if you look at the map, the environmental map, they're all over the town. Other people asked about the beach. The beach seemed to be a big ihe.
That was the viral pool?
The viral pool, yeah. Yes. What can be done to make it more accessible and make it a pleasant place to go?
Anybody go there?
Yeah.
Town people?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I live in Lakeside, Lakeview, so I'm walking down there all the time
Oh,
with my dog, and, yeah. Not as many, because now it's restricted to town only. Prior to that, it was very busy, but now it's restricted to town people only, and, yeah, it's used quite a bit, especially the neighborhood people. The kids just walk down there all the
Well,
time.
yeah.
How are the facilities there? Are they in good shape or do they need to be replaced? or-
They seem to be in pretty good shape. The town's done some things with them in the past few years. So the bathrooms are functioning, and they have a lifeguard there during the summer. They grade the beach during this, before the summer happens. There's places to cook out. So it's
We
nice.
did submit a community development block grant application
Mhm.
for the beach. It's a two-part application. This year, we submitted for design for handicap accessibility improvements. And then next year, we'll go in for construction once we have the design plans prepared.
Mhm.
Looking to get more light down there too, I think, wasn't that part of one of those?
More lighting?
Lighting.
I don't know. But, that
There's
just
lighting
takes care
there.
of the accessibility work. It doesn't take
Yeah,
care of the
there's
other.
lighting there. So at night, it is lit up. There's basketball courts,
We wanted to improve the path from the Mason School parking lot
yeah. I
down
mean,
to
there's
the
a
beach
couple
to make
things
that
wrong with that
accessible.
path. It's not graded well, and it's full of poison ivy on either side. So if you have young kids running down there, they're gonna run right through the poison ivy.
Mhm.
Are geese and algae an issue?
Oh, yeah,
Both?
yeah. Geese are there all the time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you're our recreation commission rep. Does the town manage the lifeguards or the supervision on the beach? Is there anything like that going on?
Yeah, we've talked about doing like swim lessons or something like that to try to bring more people down there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know anything about the lifeguard situation. I was on my understanding that there wasn't.
Do you know,
There was
Michelle?
an
There were no
issue.
lifeguards.
No lifeguards?
Last 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We had them prior to COVID,
Yeah.
and we have to have 2. And we just don't have it in the budget. The fire department usually kind of handles
Yeah.
the lifeguards because they're so close,
Mm-hmm.
and they have walkie-talkies.
Sure.
Just in case there's issues or anything. But,
Yeah, I think that's something we'd like to.
yeah, we'd love to be able
Look
to have them
into.
back.
So what would be your role? By the way, this is Alicia. She's from the
Yeah.
recreation.
Hey, Alicia.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So have you talked about that as a committee in terms of
Yeah, a little bit.
what's your initial take on that?
Well, we wanted to start with something small, like doing a week of swim lessons or something like that we could have a lifeguard at. And I think
Mhm.
we had some interest, someone that was interested in being a lifeguard for
Mhm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're at a point where we could do the whole summer,
Mm-hmm.
It's-
but we want to try to like get that going again.
So would the swimming be a town program, or would you try to farm that out to some other group to do that, or?
We were thinking of a town program.
town,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, we were thinking of like Nichols College maybe being
Oh, okay.
involved or
Mhm. Yeah.
getting lifeguards from them as well.
Good.
Just a few things we've talked about.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, great. Anything else, David, on you?
Not really.
Okay.
And for the ag, we were approached by Boys and Girls Club. And we were talking during our ag commission meeting about, trying to go into the schools. We never thought about the Boys and Girls Club of actually, where they're there all year long versus the kids that get out in June. If you're trying to grow plants, then what happens after June? They go to weeds. But at least with the Boys and Girls Club, they're there all year long in the summertime, and they said they do already have like some hydroponic beds, and they're also growing some plants and stuff. So we had a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So we might be doing some stuff with them down the road.
Oh, good.
That was pretty much it. I mean, it's the usual, we want a farmer's market type of deal. Why can't
Mhm.
we have one? And along those lines, and trying to keep as much of Dudley open space as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got from our table.
Okay.
And we also gave away some seeds. Some people took some. Some flower seeds and some, I think she had some watermelon seeds. Well, that's great for bringing seeds places.
Mm-hmm. Good, it's
So
good that
some
you were
people
there.
took 'em.
Right, yeah, that's great.
And we had a bunch of other literature too on, I think there was some on the lanternfly,
Oh.
the invasive
Right.
bugs that are coming up this
Mhm.
way. And then we had some other little sticker things. They were like little tattoos for kids. There was a little bee on there and a little butterfly, and some people took those.
Mhm.
So we got some agricultural stuff out there.
Okay, good. Ed?
Oh, let's see, what was I doing? I had improvement station.
Ah.
It was empty. Actually, I found people were moving around, just enjoying wherever they were at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the chit chat was about, in a sense, improvements, but they were in where you were in specific areas.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, there was nobody that just wanted to say, okay, improvements are whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They did write stuff on the board though, which is good.
Yes, and a couple talked to me and I said, put them on the board.
Good.
Because I wasn't gonna write them down, so I'm glad to hear that they.
Did you capture those, Sam?
Yeah, and I've like converted them into action items, so
Oh,
we can
good.
talk about it when we get to that.
Okay, good.
But a big thing that came up in my conversations with people was recreation areas, maintaining them and creating new ones for different sports
Mm-hmm.
was a big thing. And then what you mentioned about the vernal pools was like over at, when I went to your map, that's what people were talking about a lot, and also just like where we could get more open space in town and protect more land. But yeah, definitely like I had a representative from like the baseball team was very vocal about getting the baseball fields maintained, and but just more room for sports in general is a huge
Mhm.
thing for a few people
Mhm.
that came over. Because I think like an issue that they had was that like the baseball teams were the ones that were maintaining the town-owned fields, so they wanted more town support in the maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I had the raffle.
You did great.
And I did test the cookies too, just to make
Hey,
sure
we
they
have,
were
we have a
okay.
winner among us, right?
Well, yeah, we had two winners, so
Oh, nice.
hopefully they, I don't know whether they, were those tickets dated or just
April, Friday night, the 14th.
14th? Oh, done and over. We need another one then.
Oh, April 14th.
You what?
It's coming up.
Oh, April
Yeah.
14th, I
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
the wrong month.
she won.
Yes, she
event.
did, yes, yeah.
I'm
Wow.
gonna sit next to,
April
what's
14th.
her name, Miss Bates.
Those were good.
Nice
A
little-
Friday night is a great time to go. They usually have fireworks and
Yeah.
stuff.
Hopefully it's
Go
warmer
meet
than
us.
today.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was kind of disappointing though in terms of numbers. I thought we'd get a few more people than that. I mean, if those of us that are here hadn't been there,
Yeah.
And I,
we'd have been single digits, I think.
yeah, and I had a couple people from my committee.
You did, yes.
And from the
Thank
land
you.
trust, so.
Yeah, Land
If
Trust,
we'd
yeah.
scheduled it with the Easter Bunny hunt. That was a big turnout.
I bet.
Well,
It always is a big turnout.
So Caitlin was at the recreation station, and I asked her to write down her thoughts. If you could pass those down.
Oh, sorry.
So, you know, she wouldn't be coming to the meeting, and she had 4 points. I think we sort of heard them already. Town beach, you know, parking closer to the beach. Dudley Town Soccer seeks funding from the town for field maintenance and under 10 field reopening. General spaces for multipurpose recreation, and Dudley Little League seeks more funding for fields. So it's a common theme here in terms of lack of good active outdoor recreation
Yeah.
fields and just general space for recreation. So I think we really need to highlight that in the plan and bring out the fact that the town doesn't have much, and it doesn't seem like it's doing a good job maintaining it. But of course, we never had a recreation committee before, now we do. So I think those are good thoughts for the recreation
Definitely.
committee to take to heart and see if they can start improving some of these deficiencies that the town has.
So if I, excuse me, if I understood, I think I heard the town owns the Little League fields?
Mm-hmm.
That's up at the
I don't think that's the
elementary
case with
school.
the soccer fields though, is it?
No.
No. Oh,
I thought the
Except for
soccer
one out
field
in
was
West Dudley, the one in West Dudley we own.
Oh, the small field.
Stevens?
Right, but the one adjacent to Shepherd Hill,
The Voy Field? No,
yeah.
I don't think we
And so that private organization, Dudley Youth Soccer, provides whatever maintenance is done as far as that goes. And I suspect they're carrying the Dudley Little League is probably carrying the heaviest part of the load with regards to the field, the baseball fields.
I would imagine too, yeah.
Yes, when my kids were active, I don't ever remember a town employee
No,
on the field doing anything, frankly. Oh.
agreed.
Who, where does that fall? Is that highway department jurisdiction?
I don't know, I mean, I think if you try to approach the highway department or any department in town, they're gonna probably tell you that they don't have the budget, they don't have the manpower.
Sure, yeah.
And, you know, if there's 2.5 things sucking all the oxygen out of the air right now, who knows what it'll look like.
So, you're saying we need better budget for recreation?
I don't think we have a budget at all at this point. I mean, a budget would be something,
Yeah.
if we put $5 into it, that would be a
Yeah.
$5
line
improvement.
item. Have a place to put it.
Have you come to terms with your lack of funding yet, or do you have any thoughts about how you might
Yeah,
get money from the town?
But we haven't had much luck with, like, we tried to do a winter event, but we didn't have the funding for it, so we were trying to get grant money for that, and that didn't
Mhm.
that fell through. So, no, we have,
I think the best fundraiser in town is the Dudley Women's
yeah,
Club.
they're doing good with the playground,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yep.
I don't know that anybody else has had any success, I mean,
Mhm.
anything to rival that in terms of the amount that they've come up with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of money.
The Quinnebog field, that one's town owned?
Mhm.
Okay. That was the one that I think the soccer team had highlighted as needing a lot of
Yeah,
maintenance.
they use that for
Yeah,
those little
They've been
kids.
wanting to go
That's-
down there. And actually, I think, on River Street, they were parking on the people who live there.
Yeah,
They were parking right on the ground there. They
Yeah.
were pulling their cars right in, and I think they put signs up now, do not park. It just needs to be sodded and redone. It's,
well,
Somebody's
you know,
gonna break a
that parking
leg.
situation, just to take it over to Pine Street, that basketball court that's over there,
Mhm.
that, essentially, if you go by there, you're gonna see cars parked there.
Oh, it's all
Nobody
the
is in
people
the
across-
basketball.
people across the street.
The
Yeah.
houses across
Yeah.
the street
Yep.
have adopted that as their
absolutely.
unofficial, official parking space.
Absolutely.
And there's no sign that says that
No.
there's a basketball court there, or there's a couple of benches up there. There's nothing that says that it's park.
Went by there this weekend, and there wasn't a
No
parking
matter what-
space available.
Yep, no matter what time or day you go by.
Yeah, and
I've
nobody was
tried.
playing basketball.
No,
No.
nobody's, there's a bench, I believe, there too.
Once in
Nobody's
a-
sitting on the bench, nobody's in that area, if you will, and nobody's playing basketball.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon, I'll see some kids, cause I cut through there all the time.
Oh.
I'll see a couple of kids playing a little pickup game, but, I mean, it looks like it's part of someone's property
Right,
than it does a park.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, I mean, if somebody's just driving by and they see that, they're not gonna stop and go there because.
So better signage then would indicate that it's, you
Oh,
know,
yeah, there has to be some sort of sign,
Yeah.
and
Nothing.
the tenants need to park on the road, or like after hours.
Yeah.
Say they can park there from 8 until 6 in the morning or something like that.
Mhm.
I don't care, they'll just park when they want.
That's
Yeah.
how they
Nothing
do.
will happen, it's just like, you're not supposed to be parked on Dudley Hill along
Yeah.
the town common area.
Yeah.
So that if people are coming up, they won't miss it, and they could pull in and wander around and see a couple of things. During school year,
Oh, yeah.
there's no parking available up there,
Mhm.
and the town doesn't care, just get used to it.
Mm.
Do you think that they could enforce that? With like a ticket, a fee?
Oh, they could, and at one point, a few tickets were written, but then,
Well, actually, the chief, I think it was approved by the selectmen, proposed increasing the
It is.
fines for,
Because of those reasons,
because of those reasons, so
lots of reasons up on the hill.
they're all
there.
writing tickets now?
Hmm.
Doubling it.
There's town revenue.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
We just, you know,
oh,
need
It's like the
now it's
beach.
gonna come.
But,
But before, they didn't wanna aggravate the Nichols.
It was like $5. I mean, it was, You couldn't park for 30 seconds in Boston for what they were gonna give you a ticket for. And it was a joke.
They don't like the ticket.
Yeah, I know that, I've heard that before.
And the former chief didn't, so maybe this chief will.
Well, at least he did bring the question
Yeah.
up
Okay,
and
that's
got the
good.
increase.
When, could you specify, like, if you guys advocate for this ticket, that it's gonna go towards specifically improving that basketball court?
Well, let me back up a minute. Before we go for tickets, maybe we need to put some signs up there to tell
Yeah.
people
To
that
tell people that there is
they probably
actually.
shouldn't be looking
Yeah.
at that as their residential parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think at
are we
one
talking to
point,
Pine Tree?
Pine-
At Pine
yeah.
Street?
Pine Street.
Pine Street,
Well,
yeah.
it's gonna, actually the Nellie Twadzik
Mhm.
Park,
Mhm.
but it's never been
Formally.
signed properly
Right.
or unveiled or whatever. And
I-
I've pushed her daughter to start getting that thing done. They promised a decade ago, I think.
They were gonna get a rock. Remember
Yeah, they were gonna get a rock and a
stone?
sign
They
and
were gonna put a sign.
an explanation of who Nellie was and all of that stuff, and it just got,
Is it on them or on the town? I mean,
Well,
it's town property.
We
Well,
approved
town
it.
property.
I can remember
Right.
her son who came in
Right.
and one,
the family was gonna
Joe
Okay.
came in.
assist to say
Yeah.
what they'd like, and just hasn't happened yet.
No.
No.
I think at one point, there was a sign there
Mhm.
about no parking,
Yeah, there was.
Mhm.
but it's gone.
Gone.
It's on somebody's wall.
It's gone.
Oh, well.
I interrupted you. You were gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say what you could do with the
Oh, the money?
fee money, yeah. Like, just dedicate it specifically to the park, and maybe that would increase support for it.
They probably need a line item in the budget, though, to make sure that there's a stable funding stream. If you rely on tickets, that can be, variable from year to year,
Yeah.
not very reliable.
But it could
So I
help
think we should
fund
recommend-
somebody to mow 'em.
What's that?
I said, money that you could get from the tickets could help fund someone to cut the lawn,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just a portion of it.
So we definitely need to recommend a stable funding source for recreation, both programs and field maintenance.
Yeah.
Better signage,
Mm.
marking of parking spaces, that kind of thing.
And the beach too, a lot of people don't know that there's a town beach in Dudley,
Why do you think that is? I mean,
cause there's really no sign or anything, pointing this
Yeah,
way, town
uh-huh,
beach,
okay.
there's really, and then it's like, in order to get to it, you have to go behind the school.
Right, yeah.
So somebody
Right.
driving by that's new to the
Yeah.
town, they're gonna go, where?
Yeah, sure they can. But at least there's parking there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's.
Oh, yeah, there's
Mhm.
Plenty
parking,
of parking.
but a
And-
lot of newer people that come
Yeah,
to
they-
the town,
yeah.
they're
mhm.
like, there's a beach?
Do they still swim at the end of, what's that other road?
Elizabeth?
The old swimming hole area. You don't remember?
High Pond area? What?
Down by, the Hilka's property, where the Hilka's live.
Oh,
Whatever that road is.
Conan, no, Patterson.
Addison.
Patterson?
Yeah.
The end of Pattison.
Oh.
I mean, when I was a kid, that was the beach.
Well, that's the
Oh.
boat ramp.
Boat ramp there.
That's the boat ramp. That's where people,
Is there a boat ramp there?
well,
Sort of.
kinda.
That's where you go.
That's everybody, that's the only access.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where we used to swim as
Mm.
kids.
Is that another thing that doesn't have any sign?
I don't know. I don't
It's
go from the
probably
road
more of-
side of it. I don't have a boat, so, on the lake, so,
I don't recall anything there.
yeah,
It's kind of if you're in the know.
yeah. And not that many people drop boats in, that do a day thing where they bring a trailer down, drop a boat.
Right.
It happens fishermen mostly will
Yeah.
go fishing in the morning. But that's where all the locals put their pontoon boats in.
But to Linda's point about people not knowing about facilities the town does have, seems like just education, brochures, pamphlets,
Yeah.
websites, social
Something.
media, some way to let people know what the town does have, and so people that move in know there's a town beach.
Or put up a sign.
And we should have an annual swim-in.
And once you start the classes, then
plunge.
people will.
That's right, that's what they do in South Boston every St. Patrick's Day, right? They go jumping in.
To raise money there.
I think Oxford does that now.
Huh?
Don't
I think
forget, there's a lot
Oxford
of
does
other
the polar
ponds
plunge.
Do
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
too,
Yeah.
that people wouldn't think that the beach is here, not like Hayden Pond or Pear Point.
No, to your point, I think you really need a sign on the road somewhere
Mhm.
to identify it. I mean, a website's a fine thing, but
Yeah, like on.
people driving by are likely gonna be more aware of it, and I think,
Yeah,
you've got any number of kids in the school, so, that sign being adjacent to the school or in that area is gonna get a lot of attention, just
Or a
by
little
virtue
one
of the
on
fact
West
that
Main
parents are
Street.
coming and going all the time.
pointing down Mason Road, just a little sign.
Is there grant money for that?
The only thing I would,
Janet Mel's a
the
trust.
idea in terms of the swimming classes, I think that
What's that?
might
That's a little.
create an expectation that there will be lifeguards there.
Oh, yeah, there would be.
Oh, yeah, that'd have to
You
be.
know,
yeah.
and hopefully there's whatever funds are needed
Yeah,
to cover that.
yeah.
If you could get a lifeguard to volunteer their time.
Yeah, if we can even
We
get a
had two
lifeguard.
lifeguards.
Yeah.
All
That
set
seems-
up, and Webster scopped them up because it was they pay more.
Oh,
So
Oh.
it's hard to get them because there's not that many
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
around. I mean, how
We're
many
not
kids are taking?
Paying competitively? No.
Do you think is the boat ramp town owned? It's not?
Excuse me?
The boat ramp? That's not town owned, right?
I believe that land is.
Well, it's
It's
the end of the
it's
road.
the
I
end of a, public street.
I would think the town owns that little
So
Chunk.
much frontage.
Landing.
Is it something that they could publicize, like, would that be something you'd wanna create more outreach for? To get people to use?
I don't
the
think the
boat?
people on the pond would want that.
No.
No.
Right.
No,
People
No.
parking with boat trailers or something on the street,
Because
and,
boats
you
in
know.
general.
So it's, that
It's just
pond
a s-
is sort of at its like capacity right now?
It's a
people-
small pond,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
maybe like another boat
Yeah.
ramp would be a good option.
We don't have a large
No, they're all
pond in
small
town
ponds.
anywhere.
Yeah.
They're all tiny.
I mean,
And they're difficult. Pierpont really doesn't have a drop-in. You have to know somebody.
yeah, it's all private,
The town owns a little chunk of it,
yeah.
Yeah.
but
You
it's
can't.
treacherous.
Mhm.
You can't get there.
Mhm.
It would cost quite a bit, I think, to set it up. And then people that live there would say, not in my backyard.
Yeah.
Or back pond. So it,
And Hayden Pond's the same way.
Same way.
Baker
Absolutely.
Pond,
yeah.
yeah.
they're all the same.
It's okay, and, the fishing groups realize they can probably just get on there if they have to
Mhm.
with some lightweight boat and do their little fishing and.
Yeah, there are
go
fishing
on.
boats on Merino Pond on a regular basis.
Yeah,
But
you
there's
just
a-
don't want anybody coming on with motors, big motors, that kind of. And the Audubon now, I would imagine they restrict what comes across their property.
Mm.
They've taken away the cabin that used to be there.
Mm.
Oh.
Gone.
Hmm.
It was falling apart, it was difficult to maintain, and it got some use, but not an effective use of anything.
Hmm.
So they just took it out. But they do have good parking up
Yeah, they do.
on the road, you can come down and enjoy, just get right to the water's edge and stuff,
Mhm.
and, go swimming there, actually.
Mm.
And if you lug a kayak or something in, you can do that, it works.
Long way to carry your kayak though, from the parking lot.
Not that
No?
bad, if you're hard party, come on.
Mhm.
You have to work in town to get to these
Right.
areas.
But it's worth it.
Yeah. And we're not drawing, you know, we're not saying, hey, Worcester, come on down,
Mhm.
and not interested. If you find them, good for you. Little gems we call them.
Good. So the next item we actually had reserved for the Recreation Commission. We've talked about a lot of these issues already. Did you have any messages you wanted to convey from your committee to this committee?
Just that we're looking right now at the different parks and some of the fields, like you had said, and the playground and the beach, so it's all on our radar, but it's nice to hear from you guys too, and like what everybody has said is gonna be helpful for me to bring back.
I know they used to have a fundraiser at the beach,
Okay,
and it was quite popular.
okay.
A lot of people ran that race, and it must have raised a good amount of
We
money.
did. That was called Run for the Beach.
Right for the beach, yeah.
And Joyce Narazinski was really involved in
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Because she lives down the street there.
Yep.
And what did that fund, like the
Well, it was
lifeguards
like,
and
it was a,
stuff?
it was a road race, very similar, it's the same, course as the one they used the
Turkey
turkey
trot.
trot.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
hard.
It's a good run, yeah. It was up and down the side streets.
All those, all the way, go back, Kunkel, go up.
was
But
it
I
like a
think some-
5K or something?
Yeah, it's a
or
5K.
5K.
5K?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it was to fund lifeguards.
It was,
Okay.
it was to fund the lifeguards, and they did a good job.
Okay.
And
Well, it's a
people are still
big
asking if they're gonna,
Yeah.
you know, if
Maybe
there's
start
gonna be
that up
another
again.
one every year.
Yeah.
Cause it's been
That's
a few years since they've had one.
Okay.
I still have a box of T-shirts. if
Oh,
you
really?
want.
There you go. Bring those out.
People still ask,
Do they?
you know, you're gonna have a road race this year.
Bring 'em out for everybody.
My daughter and son-in-law and the kids would come down
Yeah.
from, they live in Franklin.
sounds like
just to
fun.
Run the race, so.
What time of year was that?
It was in the spring, I
Spring or
think,
something?
early spring,
Yeah, because we had to open up the bathrooms.
yeah.
That. Plumber down there.
It was a good event.
Yeah, it was always around, oh,
Memorial Day?
I've got my paperwork in my
Yeah.
office, I can look for you. But it was called Run for the Beach,
Run for
we
the
had a
Beach.
lot of sponsors.
Yeah, yep.
What happened? Is it COVID?
We decided we were gonna fund the lifeguards ourselves.
Yeah.
We did?
We shouldn't. Just had to
Everything
step
ages
up.
out.
I don't think
Yeah.
that would have aged out.
Isn't
I
that
think,
hard?
Well,
It's
you
kinda fun.
need
I
to have
like
another
runners.
generation step up.
yeah.
Well, the turkey thing's been going pretty
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
well for a
Yeah.
number of
PTO.
years, so.
Yeah.
What's the turkey
Apparently,
thing?
there
It's
is
called-
an
it's on
audience, if you
Thanksgiving
will,
morning.
or a group of
Oh.
It's the
people.
same,
It's a
it's the
race.
same
It's a race, okay.
Yeah, it's a race.
route
And
that they take.
Yeah, if you
PTO
ran
do it.
Memorial Day, enough time to recover for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But it's not easy, I walked it, I didn't run. I took my dog.
Well, walk,
She
run,
was so
is
tired.
you still enter, right? Whether walk or run.
Yeah. Yeah, you can walk on baby carriages.
Was there some organization that was sponsoring that was spearheading that?
It was called the Beach Committee.
Yeah, there was a.
Beach Committee.
It was it a town committee or is it like a, yeah, it was,
Town
okay,
Committee, yeah.
Hmm.
Joyce did a lot of work on that.
yeah.
Who did?
Joyce
Joyce,
Narazinski.
yeah.
Oh,
She's
She lives
on
just down the street on Lakeview.
Library.
But you don't still have this beach committee, right? This is.
I don't, but I have a lot of paperwork about it.
maybe
And T-shirts. for
could be
everybody.
resurrected, perhaps?
I don't know, can't hurt to ask, why not?
Well, we have the Recreation Committee now.
Yeah.
Right, Rec can do it.
So I think
Yeah.
it would probably fall under your purview
Yeah,
to
Sounds
pick
like a
that up
good
again.
event to
I mean,
start again.
it raises money. It's,
Yeah.
it's a crowd pleaser. Everybody that goes just really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
It shows people that haven't been there before where the beach is.
That's true.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
We had the
Community
Island
building event
Castaways
too.
playing.
yeah, that's right.
The
Yeah,
Leathers
there was
Band.
music and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
It was
Yeah.
pretty fun, yeah.
No, I don't have anything else to
Okay.
bring,
I
unfortunately.
know you're just
Sorry.
starting up, so
Do
you got a lot
know-
to think about.
Let me ask you a question, if I
Yeah.
may. Have you folks been discussing the no-fund zone over here? And where do we stand in terms of getting something done with that, do you know?
Very little. She would know more.
you know?
I don't really know how much they raised, the actual amount.
I think they've
They're
raised
going
like,
to be turning over the money in June 30th.
Turning it over
Yeah, at the
to
end of
town?
the fiscal year. They committed for 1 year
Oh.
to do it. So,
I think it's like over 300,000 now, the
wow.
last I knew.
They've
Raised
raised that
300.
much?
Yeah, cause they got a couple of bigger donations.
Wow, last I heard was like 50 or 60, that's a big jump.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Could be wrong,
Yeah.
but
That would,
I would hope you're right.
what was proposed at town meeting was 379, as I
Yeah,
recall.
that would, yeah.
If they have 300,
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of the total.
The cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
total
Okay.
for just the playground was 3 something.
Okay.
yeah.
But now we've changed our plan regarding the
Newtown Commons.
Town
Right.
Commons.
Right.
That was very popular.
Yeah.
People really went through the thing.
Good.
Yeah, they really liked it a lot.
What is that?
Oh, we had 3, oh, go ahead.
There's, well, Bill knows better than I do.
Well, Michelle and I and John Ruda and Jeff Murray are working with landscape designer Michael Radner,
Okay.
who we invited to the forum.
Mm.
And he has 3 concept plans for this
Okay.
fun zone out here, where the plan is to use that area as more of a passive gathering place
Oh, yeah.
with informal fields and, sitting areas, maybe have music and, restful activities. The seniors could come out
Oh, I
during the
think I
day
remember you talking about that a
and,
little bit.
enjoy that space. And then
Yeah.
further up towards that fenced-in equipment area
Yep.
would be more of the active recreation spot where we
Okay.
put in new equipment. And then there would be sort of all be accessible, so you could have grades wandering through that would meet
Yeah, that'd be fun.
ADA requirements.
Yep.
And then there'd be sort of just a kid play space in the woods where they could run around and scrape
Okay.
knees and,
Yeah,
have a good time,
sounds-
so.
Yeah,
so-
that sounds awesome.
So I'm glad to hear that
Yeah, it was.
went over.
It was a hit.
Caitlin is gonna put up the boards in the
Okay.
town hall so that people can, see them when they come in.
Great.
And then we wanted to put something up on the websites for people to comment on them as well.
Mhm.
So we want to really make that a very visible kind of
Yeah, that'd
project.
be
'Cause
nice.
I think, it's very exciting if we could pull that off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
People would really love it, so we want to try to raise awareness of it and get people excited about it.
Oh, one other thing went out at my table. People were talking about doing more ADA compliance at the rail trail.
Hmm.
So even though it has parking for ADA, you probably can't go very far.
Because of lack of maintenance, or just?
Yeah, just the
contour
the
itself?
terrain, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was, it's a problem with design.
Design
The
and.
natural design
Yeah,
and
right.
whatever. It
Schofield Avenue parking area, is that what you're talking about?
No, the Mill Street.
Oh, the Mill Street.
There- There's some
Oh.
areas that aren't too bad. I mean, some of it is
I know.
soft, and then there's an area further down that's just crushed stone.
Yeah.
Well, I did prepare an application to pave it.
Huh.
So
Remember
I
you saying that.
got a $500,000 application and combine that with accessibility improvements so that you could get to it
Yeah.
easier if you have
Awesome.
mobility issues.
Yep.
So we're got our fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that'd be great.
Well,
I know we had a gentleman, Kendall Kevich, who was the steward for this rail trail. It was a wonderful man.
Yeah.
And, he was, that was on his radar, ADA.
Yeah, definitely.
Was it good?
Yeah.
I've gotten into the habit of walking that pretty much every day now. The dog takes me for a walk, and I don't see a lot of traffic on there, honestly. I mean, today, for example, there was nobody
Mm.
for the hour or so I think that we were down there. I don't. Again, maybe I know there's great signage when you're in that little parking
Sure,
lot,
yeah.
but I don't know the level of awareness in terms of what people. The whole question I think that we've brought up here is, what do people know? What are
It's
they
a good
aware
point.
of? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the numbers that we had that evening would indicate there's not a whole lot of interest. people were.
You're up against Jeopardy and Wheel of
Yeah.
Fortune. Stuff
Oh,
like
come
that.
on, Pat Sajak's gonna retire someday, can't go on forever. But, you know, if somebody wanted to know, had a question,
Yeah.
that would have been pretty much the best option they would have had available to them in terms of a talking, you know, somebody to talk to, as opposed to just fishing around on a website and finding whatever you might find by, almost by accident in some cases. I could do a run the rail trail race.
Yeah,
Good.
a wheelchair race. That'd be kind of fun.
Do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think there's somebody out there with a horse, from what I've been able to see in terms of tracks.
Yeah, I think it's multi-purpose. You can,
Oh, yeah.
you can have horses out there.
I haven't seen the horse yet.
Yeah, if you do like an event based around like the rail trail, then that will like increase the rail trail numbers that you'll see on the day-to-day probably.
I don't know, I would think so. It wouldn't make it any less, that's for sure.
Okay. So bringing back like community events is probably a big thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Sam, we had down here, you know, talking about the action plan. I know you've done some work on that. Do you have anything you wanted to present or discuss, or how did you wanna?
Yeah, so how much time do we have tonight?
Another 2 hours? Just kidding.
Yeah.
You
Usually we
misspeak.
like to break up between 8:30 and 9.
8:30?
Yeah.
Okay. So this, I have a feeling this will be broken into next meeting as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Just because there's gonna be a lot that we, like,
There'll
we've
be
discussed a
another
lot
meeting.
already, but there's still,
Mhm.
like, just pulling from the survey and what I've gathered from the public forum, there's several action items that we'll wanna discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And then like assign to different committees, and then develop like a priority scale
Mhm.
for like what's high priority and what's low priority.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we're done either with this meeting, or like it's probably gonna move on to the next meeting, then in like mid-March or mid-May, sorry, I'll have a draft for
Mhm.
everyone to review.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we'll just need is, we already have the ADA plan,
Mm-hmm.
so just letters of support from the
Mhm.
Board of Selectmen and the planning board.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know what it will take to get those letters from them? Do they have like a system set up?
Piece
for
of
that?
cake, yeah, no problem.
Okay, they
We-
can just, okay.
Michelle and I will write them and, you know,
Alright,
they'll sign.
that's good. 'Cause sometimes they need like a presentation as well.
No, well, we could talk about that at some point if you wanted to do that.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
But if it is needed, then I can
Sure.
certainly do a
Okay.
presentation. And then, yeah, so I guess we can get into it now. So I have action items listed out here, and then if you guys wanna offer some after I read these out and we discuss these ones, we can talk about that. I guess first we should probably talk about how we're gonna rank them, like in terms of their priority.
Mm-hmm. You know, my sense is I'd rather not say we have low priority items because
Mhm.
those would never get done. So I would rather say we have very high priority and high priority items. So the high priority would actually be the lesser, but if we ever did an application for something, we could say, well, that's a high priority item
Mhm.
in the open space and recreation plan.
Okay.
So I don't wanna call something a low priority because that makes it kinda meaningless.
Mhm.
So we can have two categories if you want, but I'd rather not call them low priority.
I think sometimes the issue that we run into with plans is that certain committees or town departments will look at it and they'll be like, well, now we have like a list of like 100 things we need to do, and we have no way of like knowing like which
Right.
ones. I mean, there's very high priority and high priority, but if there's some that they can set aside for later, it just makes it easier and more manageable and less like
Mhm.
overwhelming once they're presented with
We
it.
can handle that by timing. You know, we
Okay.
have a 7-year plan,
Yeah.
so we could put some of the ones that we think we don't need to do
Sure.
immediately, put those in the later years of the plan.
Okay. Alright. So I guess we can just get into it then.
Yeah.
So for the first objective, I'll just go like down the list through objectives and goals. The first objective under the goal of create and improve active recreation opportunities for all. The first objective is develop new active recreation facilities and programs. And the first item we have for that, this is picked up from the survey, is construct a disc golf course on wooded property. So, how do we feel about it? Somebody wanted to construct a disc golf course on a wooded property.
Oh, a disc, okay.
Yeah,
That's fun activity.
okay. Do we see that as being a good action item, or could that just be like maybe lumped in to like exploring new opportunities for recreation, like facilities? Or do we want to get more specific with it?
Well, you know, my thought is we have a lot of other things that need to happen before that.
Yeah.
You know, things we talked about earlier in terms of, you know, adding new fields and better maintenance and things of that sort, but.
The one thing that might work with is that it doesn't sound like it would be too expensive.
To
You
just
know,
get the disc golf?
essentially you're gonna work around the trees, if you will, you're not gonna be
Mhm.
clearing land and creating a
Mhm.
golf course in the traditional
Mhm.
sense. So that looks like it's low impact in terms of the financial end of things. If you're
Mhm.
talking about acquiring or developing new fields,
Mhm.
that's gonna be a big ticket item.
Sure.
And you
Yeah,
might
so-
be able to get a local bar to
Sponsor that?
sponsor it, you know, and
Yeah,
take ownership for it.
cheaper still.
Linda, how about some of the people that some of the farmers in town, they have extensive wooded areas, would they be interested in doing something like that?
I have no idea. We'd have to send something out to see if they would be interested.
You need access and you need parking, and that gets into a whole lot of
It's
issues.
into the liability of people
Insurance,
on your
yeah, and all that.
land and everything, so there's a
Mhm.
lot to it.
No, they have, out in Buffalo Dam, they have.
Do they?
disc golf, yeah,
Okay.
But there
but that's a state.
are a number of town-owned parcels.
Yep.
I don't know if there are any that fit the bill here, I don't
Mhm.
know how much you need in terms of space, but.
What about down by the beach? You got you have
Oh.
trees there.
Hey,
Yeah,
we've got parking and access, and we've gotta put up a
Yeah.
sign.
that's
so
nice, that would
Just
draw
add
people
another
out.
level to the sign.
Mm-hmm. There's
Okay,
plenty of
good.
woods back there.
Good.
That is actually a good idea, because that space is not being used by
Not that bad.
very many people at all.
Mm-mm.
So possibly near the town beach. I
Yeah.
can add that in.
Yeah.
Once poison ivy's cleared up, that is.
You play through a lot
They
faster.
do that every year, they say they do.
Yeah, you can't get rid of it.
Okay. And so for another active recreation facility, there was constructing dedicated softball fields that are not shared with the Little League. So that one's gonna be harder, probably. But we like that, we wanna keep that in?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Are there adults softball leagues in Dudley? I didn't think so. Okay, that's,
They have to go out of town.
yeah, I know this Oxford used to have.
Southbridge used to be very
Yeah,
active.
there used to be bar leagues.
Hmm.
I don't know
My
what,
brother used to
what the
play in
status is now.
Henry Street.
Webster used to have some too. I think,
Okay. And for the timing of these, do you want me to send you these after so we have more time to think about it, or do we wanna talk about it now? Like, what the timing could look like?
Why don't you figure that out, and then we'll review it,
Okay,
rather than spending time talking about it tonight.
alright. And I could do the same with the priorities.
Okay.
Alright. And so what about the roles for the construction of these facilities? So like what departments would you like to have look into this? I mean, recreation might be a good one. Recreation committee? Okay.
we have to get the highway department involved at some point.
Yeah, I think the highway would be the actual builder of the facility, but I
Yeah.
think the
Yeah,
recreation
and any kind of
committee would,
maintenance issues.
would sort of
Upkeep.
be in charge overall.
And would that be the same for the disc golf, or who owns that? Like the
Yeah, I think anything active recreation, we should give to the recreation committee.
And then we had construct additional basketball courts or improve the existing courts.
Mhm.
So I guess we can break that up, because there's a maintenance objective as well,
Mhm.
so I'll put that into maintenance as well.
Okay.
No, we talked about the one on Pine Street, but I don't know
Yeah.
what condition is that court in?
I don't know.
Somebody is keeping it up, because at one point, it was never even mowed, but now it is. So
They're
I don't
cutting
know
the
if
grass?
the town has been
Maybe the
cutting the
town's doing
grass.
it.
No, I was thinking of the
Guys go in.
basketball court itself in terms of.
You can't see it.
Yeah, I
from the
haven't been
road.
up there. It's a
Yeah.
good idea. Take a walk up there someday.
Mm.
Just park.
Yeah,
If you can
spot.
park.
If you can find a spot.
Yeah. Because I definitely had people saying like that court needed like maintenance.
It did.
But I don't know if they just meant like the visibility of it or the actual court, so that would be a good thing to check up on. But yeah, maintaining basketball courts, we can add that. Develop a better play area for kids. What do you guys think about this?
That's gonna be over here,
Mhm.
hopefully, cross your fingers.
Okay.
As we don't have any, I mean, all we have is school facilities and there's limited access to those, and I don't think the schools.
So I don't know if you know, but we have a playground right on this property, and it's shut down because,
It was a safety.
yeah, safety thing.
Okay.
It aged out. It was no longer a kid.
So-
It was like more of us.
No, it had one, I'm gonna say this maybe for the 1,000th time, one great advantage, there was a shaded area there.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
for some of us who weren't on the slides, we could sit down there and watch those that were.
Absolutely.
Without being baked in the sun,
Yep.
which you were in many places.
So we do have another action item specifically called like repair and open the playground. I guess we should leave that in, because is it, like, do you think that's gonna be fixed anytime soon? Or
No,
is it sort of
but
like
it does
so-
have a lot of visibility, and again, thank you, Dudley.
Yeah, there's a
Women's Club, for
fundraiser going
keeping
on
that-
right now by the
Keeping
Women's
that
Club.
flame.
Okay.
You need, I think, also to add the Newtown Commons planning process to that
Yeah.
as well. The Michael Radner concepts, so that we can pursue, have a action item to pursue that implementation item.
So pursue implementation of the Newtown Commons.
Right.
I like, any one of those three would be great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're gonna get the whole apple. I think you're gonna have to take a bite and maybe work that
Might be
over time.
phased, right, yeah.
Maybe the playground would be the first element
Yeah,
and build on that.
I don't remember the exact survey. Was pickleball ever brought up in any of, because
It's so
people just,
noisy.
huh?
It's so noisy.
But people keep asking about,
And
when
it's
can
a
we
big-
play pickleball? And-
Yeah,
Fad
you
thing.
gotta put it somewhere not near houses.
But that would be something we would wanna add, probably, right?
That's
Sure.
it. It's very popular with
Yeah.
Yeah.
older people.
You don't have to move so fast.
Up in the back.
Or if you live in Florida,
Yeah.
They're putting one in the drone.
And there's not a lot of work to get it set up. I mean, it's not like you have to
Well, it's,
landscape everything and do
Mhm.
all of that, you know,
Mhm.
you just
Hmm.
get in there.
Is it just a wooden octagon? That's it.
Is it what?
It's just like a wooden octagon, right?
Is it?
I didn't even know what the table
Pickleball?
looks like.
Yeah, pickleball.
no, pickleball's like a tennis court.
Yeah.
It's like,
Smaller version of it?
it's like
Yeah.
ping pong
Ping pong,
versus
yeah.
On the
tennis.
ground,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, there's like a bigger
A bigger
paddle.
mallet and a different kind of ball, like a wiffle ball.
I don't know what I was thinking
We don't have no
Look
municipal
up the
tennis
villages
courts.
in
The
Florida.
tennis courts are at the high school.
I'm sorry?
The only tennis courts I know of are at the high school.
Chinese Shepherd Hill, yeah. Oxford's got some down there on
Yeah, and-
Greenbrier.
Yep.
I think there's some in Auburn as well, but I don't know about Oxford. Charlton?
Yeah, there's,
You know what I keep hearing is we bring up something and we go, oh yeah, there's one in Webster, there's one in Charlton, there's
Yeah.
one in Southbridge, and
They're
there's
everywhere.
none in Dudley. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I'm just trying to think, because if people are saying we want more fields in general for specific recreation uses, if it makes sense to specify it this much. But I guess like if the whole objective is develop new active recreation facilities and programs, I guess, because I do have another item that says acquire new fields for recreation,
Mhm.
but that one's way too broad, I guess, if like the whole
Yeah.
thing is.
Opportunities.
Yeah.
But
As
when-
opposed to fields, because we don't want to define it as you have to have a field.
Just active recreation facilities and programs.
Right.
But you could use like a multi-use field. You have a
Yeah,
baseball
multi-use.
field, a soccer field, pickleball, basketball courts.
For the pickleball field, what about the piece of property across from St. Andrews? That would be just about big enough.
Where the old town barn
Yeah.
lot there? Yeah, any,
That's town
was any
property.
proposed use for that area?
That would be a good
We were
spot.
thinking of maybe farmer's market down there as
Oh.
well.
Yeah, but we're not
Nice and cool.
going along those lines with the farmer's market
You're not?
just yet.
Okay. What's your thought?
Because we had that discussion last night
Okay.
at our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So is it potentially pickleball across the street from St. Andrews?
Yeah, St. Andrew Babola Church. There's a lot right
There's a
across
lot
from
there,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it used to be where the town
old
barn
town
used to
barn.
be.
Is there room there to park a few cars?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
It's a good size, yeah.
And, I don't know, across the street, occasionally use the church, pretty good sized parking lot. I don't know what the use would be in terms of using it, but
Mm.
Well, they used to ask permission to have people park there when they have a festival, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
This is another slightly more broad one. Just develop more places and programs for the youth specifically. Do you want to keep that in, or do you think the rest of these are kind of getting into that
All right.
already?
Specifically for what?
For the youth.
Well, there are youth,
Youth?
well, we do have we have soccer and
They just said develop more.
more, okay. And we had talked about swimming lessons at the beach, that would be a program.
Okay. We could include swimming lessons, but maybe like this might be a good one for the recreation committee specifically. Is just like having like that on their to-do list.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about the road races, for example. That would be
Yeah.
a program and that kind of thing.
But yeah, I could add in specifically swimming as well. And the next one is allow hunting on rural conservation lands.
I'm not hearing much demand for that anywhere.
here.
Is anybody,
Oh, we hear it on the
That-
land trust,
you get it? Okay.
especially what we call Slater Woods, off of Dudley Oxford Road.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go through Audubon, and I think the way it's set up, I don't think there's hunting allowed on our properties. Maybe, do you know if Slater Woods?
I don't
think so.
we ever allowed
No.
hunting.
But there are people back there.
Oh, there are always people, yeah.
7 o'clock in
Let
the
them go to
morning.
Vermont, you know?
And we've walked through and there's stands up in the trees.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do private landowners allow hunting on their property, do you know?
I would say it would be under their own discretion,
Mm-hmm.
like I do. For general people, no, absolutely not, because again, liability issue. They get hurt on your property, they can come back after you.
I mean, I don't think we want to allow it on town conservation land. It doesn't seem consistent.
I don't know
with
if we have
the
a
goal.
piece big enough
Yeah.
for hunting.
Right.
No.
Okay. So we can take
But
that.
there's so much open space in town.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of farmland, open fields, which maybe is good for
It-
wildlife. And
It would be up to, like I said, like the farm owner or
Right.
the open space owner, if they
Yeah.
want to allow somebody or
Yeah.
not.
Mhm.
You know, but the best thing is if a hunter is interested, to stop and ask the landowner if they are allowed, if they can go there.
Mhm.
Instead of, like with me, I have people that just drive up. And it's like, where are you going? you know, oh, I'm gonna go hunting. And I've had a couple of them swear at me and
I'm sure.
tell me where to go
That's
not
when
so
you say-
nicely and.
You say, I'm gonna go hunting.
Now, are you posted,
And-
though?
Yep,
Oh, so
I'm posted all
Yeah.
around. Doesn't matter,
they don't care.
they don't care.
Hmm.
They do not care.
Do they have big flags on the back of their thing?
Matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, I had a pickup truck just drive right past my house, right up towards my back field.
Yep.
Have no idea who it was.
Hmm.
Road complete, you can tell the road stops right at my house, right at my driveway.
Mhm.
They just keep driving.
Hmm.
It's like, where are you going? But, no, I think that should be under the discretion of the landowner.
Okay.
Good.
And for the town, that might open up a liability issue
Yeah,
if
I
somebody
know-
thinks that somebody's a giant turkey.
Mhm.
As for the land trust lands, there's conservation restrictions, and a lot of them are written with no hunting
Mhm.
Right.
built right into
Mhm.
them.
Right.
Or motorized vehicles.
Yeah, always.
Because, yeah, if you're encouraging people to come and walk
Yeah,
the property.
Walk or use a regular mountain bike, a bike,
A bike, non-motorized.
not a quad,
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
dirt bike.
if there's any land that I thought would be able to do that, would be off in Slater Woods.
Mhm.
But that'd be, the land trust, Audubon, there's town land back there,
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
private land.
Mhm.
If everybody get together, the deer have to be brought down. There's a lot of deer in Dudley,
Mhm.
but,
Yeah, because I do see cars pulled off
Oh, yeah.
early morning,
Yeah.
and,
yeah,
Going
literally for
along.
hiking, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're
Yeah,
hiking.
yeah, uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the shotgun's going off at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's always wonderful.
So, do you want to maybe say, explore the possibility of coordinating with all of those groups for the Slater Road area, or is this not enough of a priority?
I don't think it'd be a popular thing, actually,
Okay.
for the few amount of people that wanna hunt versus people that wanna just walk in there and hike.
Mm.
That's what the real
Low
purpose of it.
priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but we won't add that in there.
Okay,
So develop a maintenance strategy for the existing recreation fields. Most likely, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Fix the park at the police station?
this is the, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's like, okay.
This
that's
is the new town commons
Right,
fun
okay.
zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we already have that in there.
Mhm.
Repair and open the playground, yeah, we talked about that. Maintain basketball courts. But that kind of goes in with existing recreation fields. Well, basketball courts, we can have that as a separate thing. Town-owned baseball field property should be maintained by the town rather than leagues. Maybe.
That's up at Crawford Field, is that what we're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of goes hand in hand with the recreation fields, I guess.
Mhm.
Or do we want to separate those, or do we think it's good to keep them together? Just saying, like, maintain recreation fields.
Well, I'd keep them separate,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Make the playground for kids available not only during after-school hours.
Well,
Oh, that-
hopefully,
So that's probably referring to the school playgrounds that you.
Yeah, that's what I would
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
and you can't do that.
Okay. Improve access to town beach. Yes.
Definitely.
Okay. Maintain the rail trails.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep. Do you want to emphasize like the accessibility of the rail trails?
Sure.
Yeah.
they're fairly accessible.
No, it is, but to be ADA compliant.
Oh,
That's what I-
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
whole different world.
After-
Getting
wheelchair
on there and
users,
being
yeah.
able to
Right.
move yourself from one end to the
Yeah.
other.
Mhm.
And you're on a lure that oops, sorry, about that log.
So as an objective, we have increased awareness of active recreation opportunities. What are some specific action items that we would want to throw into that category?
Prepare a brochure,
Okay.
have information on the website.
Okay. Anything else?
Alicia, are your meetings on cable? Are they televised?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I would say the social media has been a lot better lately. I like looking at everything happening, so I would put
Mhm.
it on that too.
Okay.
So
One of our
continuing to-
selectmen has said, and he said it a number of times, you have to tell people 5 to 7 times,
Yeah.
you know who I'm talking about, before it starts to sink in.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many, different media we have available to us. We get the sign out front here. I think that kind of road race thing, because it brings out a lot of folks, and it's kind of in that same venue and
Mhm.
focus.
Yeah, it was
It's
really
running
popular.
groups.
That probably would work better than any number of signs, frankly, if you could get that going again.
Mhm.
And we did talk about signs, Sam, to have better, signage to indicate fields,
Mhm.
and their uses.
What about the Webster Times? To put something in there.
Yeah. A lot of people tell me they don't even look at it any longer.
There are people that do.
Yeah. It's not what it used to be. I mean,
Oh, no,
Oh, no.
not even the Telegram, that's,
Oh, the Telegram is,
That's gone.
yeah.
that's a joke. I get the biggest section of the Telegram typically is the obituaries.
Mhm.
I mean, what does that say?
That's what
about
most people just
newspaper?
buy it for.
What's that?
It's why most people get the paper is for the obituaries.
One day it was like 2 pages.
Yeah. Just check quickly, you're not there,
Yeah.
okay, well, I gotta look for the comics now. No, that's.
What about for like the road race? You know how some of them have those banners that go across the
Yeah,
road
yeah.
to advertise?
Mm-hmm, yeah, good
I
idea.
get T-shirts and.
We had all these people, like, the local businesses give money,
Yeah.
and we put it on the back of the T-shirt.
Mhm.
Everybody who
Was
gave
that
money.
one, just one race, or
Yep.
could you have
I can go get a
two,
T-shirt.
two races? First group goes out, and then there's a seniors group or something.
Sure.
Which
Mhm.
then, and there may be even a preteen group, I don't know, it's something where you actually use the same day and the same interest to draw, and maybe you get
A small.
more of a
group.
crowd.
Mhm.
Somebody say, hey, we're gonna see Gramps, see if he can make it.
And,
If he does, then you can go and see if you can make it, and then we'll bring up the kids in the carts or something.
sports betting is legal now, too.
Yeah.
Now, there you go.
Get on
Well, you could get
Grandpa.
$5
Really
on
make
Gramps
some
and see
money
if, what that gets us.
Also in this category, I was thinking we could put the idea that we talked about of hosting events at specific locations,
Mm.
like the rail trail, to popularize the rail trail.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like for the town beach, we could have town beach events.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's
So-
good.
yeah.
Yeah, we could have the sale of gummies, you know.
So anything else for increasing awareness of the active recreation opportunities? There's two objectives splitting up active recreation opportunity awareness and passive recreation opportunity awareness. Do we like splitting those up? Because I think a lot of the strategies will be pretty similar. Or do we want to just say increase awareness of active and passive recreation opportunities?
Yeah, let's put them together.
Okay.
Responsibilities would be different, The Conservation Commission, for example, would be mostly in charge of, passive recreation, and the Land Trust, of course, could be folded in there as well for their sites.
Okay. So then when it's broken into the action items under the objective, then we could, that's when we would list the different responsibilities.
Right.
So, okay. Okay. We have improved accessibility of active recreation opportunities for all. In that, we have listed improve access to the town beach. But is there anything else you guys would like to list in there? I mean, we did mention the rail trail, but that would be listed under passive. Is there any other accessibility concerns around, like, say, the soccer fields or other, like the, I mean, we have the beach, but any other, like, active recreation areas?
Well, we could look at the ADA plan. I think all of the fields had some issues that need to be resolved.
Okay.
So I think a catch-all recommendation might be to implement the recommendations of the ADA plan regarding active recreation sites.
Cool. Okay. For the goal of enhanced passive recreation opportunities for all, we have maintain existing passive recreation opportunities in town. So that includes maintaining the rail trails and improving their accessibility. And what are some other passive recreation, like hiking areas in town that
There's,
need to be
as
maintained?
far as I know, there's just Ardlock and the rail trail,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
I think
that
that's
the
right.
town owns.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, we
But
can't put,
I'd like to see us doing more, somehow on the roads where people actually go and create their own walk areas now.
Mhm.
And, you know, Pierpont's like that. It's wide enough, people are gonna go and walk there, but it's, you know, it's narrow enough that they could get killed. What can I say?
You mean on the
but-
road itself?
But they walk on the road.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And.
You don't even
if we
have a
look-
speed sign on that road that I can recall.
Pardon?
You don't even have a speed sign on that road, you know, 30, 40.
There are speed signs, but
What?
no one, trust me.
Really? I saw a speed limit sign there.
Oh,
There
yes,
is.
there are speed limit signs, but it doesn't matter. Pre and post school time, you're with whatever the students are doing. Or, you know, if they're working at Hilka's Pit. Whatever, there are a lot of speeders, just no
Yeah.
question about it.
That's Pierpont Road, you said?
Pierpont Road.
Okay.
But it's a good,
Not just that
it's a
road.
good walk, and there are little areas that you could go off on the side and whatever. But we need more of those in town, and we need to do like I wanted many years ago, turn some roads into one-ways, so that half of the road is still a travel area, but the other half can become the walking trail.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Or bike path. Or bikes.
or bikes, you know, anything but a car. And there are a couple of roads out there that lend themselves to that. Along Perryville,
Yep.
you get that, and, you know, they didn't like that idea. They said, no, you have to be able to go both ways on that road to get to the package store.
That's important, you know.
One of the brighter moments in town.
That's
When
one
the
of the-
selectman said, that's right, that's all about business. That's it.
Instead of going up and taking a right.
No, really.
Really, it was. But I think we could look at those kinds of things where you can take what we've got and have dual use if you just work at it a little
Mhm.
bit. And there's a lot more walkers now than
Yeah.
there ever have been.
Mhm.
Personally, I cringe every time I see somebody walking on Airport Road.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Put a target on your back. I mean, it's just
Oxford Ave, too.
Oxford Ave, yeah. Yeah.
You take your life in your hands if you try to walk on that road.
Dudley Oxford Road, I remember someone telling me once that she
Hands
walked
on,
that
hands
once. That was it. Never do it again. Never even try. I mean, we've been trying to push sidewalks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like pushing a rock
Well,
up a
there's a
hill.
lot of bucks there.
Yeah, I know. Well, we did get something on Mason Road.
It looks
Hopefully,
lovely, too.
maybe some more to
Good
come,
things.
but,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
came
but-
out very well. it looked like it was just gonna gut those fronts of the house.
They did a nice job.
Enhance their properties, I
Nice.
think.
Yeah.
Or even if they could line like some of the roads. You know, like in some towns, they have the bike paths
Right.
on the
Yeah,
sides of the
right.
road.
Oh, yeah.
The ones I don't get are the bike paths in the middle of, those are just weird.
Yeah.
There's some towns that have the bike path in the middle of the road where the double solid line is.
And then there's parking like to the right of it still.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are weird.
I don't know.
But, you know, like even if we just, like on the wider roads, just stripe it and put like the little bike symbol or something.
So
Not
our
like
lo-
a dead pedestrian symbol.
the Ardlock, would you say, is there any maintenance issues with Ardlock?
I like Acres.
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't hiked down there in a while.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Okay.
I think it's fine, you know. I don't think there's much we need to say about it. Just maintain it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We should just keep that in, just 'cause since there's only 2 facilities,
Mhm.
may as well.
Just the hiking trail, they are gonna be breaching that dam down there, right, the Carpenter Pond Dam.
Yes.
At some point, so,
Okay.
David, have you ever added up the miles of trails in the land trust properties?
Yeah, yeah, we have statistics for that. We have a booklet that, I think it says the mileage on the,
How would you like this plan to reflect what you offer? You know, any kind of
we can, but
working together kind of ideas?
sure. I don't know how, but.
Yeah, I don't know how either.
I don't-
Because you offer, you know, a lot of passive hiking
We
trails.
do, probably
Which sort of
without a doubt,
minimizes
most in
the
the
need
town.
for the town to do that,
Yeah.
because, you know, you've got a lot of good places
Mhm.
to go.
I mean, we do advertise on the town website,
Mhm.
so if you're looking at recreation, you know, the land trust,
Mhm.
it goes right to our website, and we have a pretty
Mhm.
nice website that has all the
Mhm.
trail maps on it.
Mhm.
Um,
Where are they on the website? Do you know?
I've been there before, but I don't,
Okay.
yeah.
maybe how to.
Okay. I'll check.
Probably the Conservation Commission website.
I don't know.
So you know, there should be a recommendation for the land trust and the town to work together on,
To coordinate.
coordinate passive recreation and promotion of conservation objectives.
Okay. So for the next objective, develop new passive recreation opportunities. One of the existing action items from the last time this was discussed with this committee was a trail along the river.
Mhm.
Is that still a thing that's sought after? Okay.
I think there's a long-range plan to have a greenway along the French River, sort of connecting with land in Oxford and Webster. Ed could speak to that since he was on the French River Greenway for a long time, but it might be maybe some canoe launches on the river, walks along the river. The Stevens Mill is gonna put in a river walk when they develop that property, so there's a number of things that exist and potential for more.
So, connecting with the greenway along the French River would be maybe even its own item. And then the Centennial Park. So it was mentioned that there could be more green space, an amphitheater, or a walking loop around it.
Mm-hmm.
Ed, have you given that any thought in terms of how you wanna push that idea?
I'm sorry?
Have you given any thought as to how you're gonna get this park done in 10 years?
We're gonna go into a concept design stage, you know, take
Mhm.
our time.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see that one as having, walks on the edges, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it has increased in a drop and give you enough exercise without hurting you.
Mhm.
And then somewhere to sit down,
Yeah.
you know, so it's going to attract an older group,
Mm-hmm.
you know, crazed kids that really want to move or have a park course or something, maybe not so much, but there could
Mhm.
be a park course, along the side.
Mhm.
You know, that, I think there's room there for all kinds of options.
Mhm. Good.
I'm surprised we haven't talked about a dog park.
That was talked about in here quite a bit.
It was? All right,
Yeah,
we haven't
forum.
brought it up this evening anyway.
Then on the board.
What do you guys think about that? Getting a new dog park?
I'm not worried about the dogs.
How did it come out in the
They
survey,
take their,
Sam?
their people out and walk them.
Somebody wrote it on that board. I saw
Um,
that.
Yeah, people just want like a dog-friendly area somewhere because apparently they're going to other towns to walk their dogs. So they said reconsider like a ban of dogs on recreational trails. And that would help attract more residents to the town as well, potentially. So we good with that?
Sure.
That was like improve accessibility of passive recreation opportunities because it would allow for dog walkers.
Mhm. Sure.
Alright.
If there's a demand for it in town, we should,
Yeah.
keep it in the plan. If nobody's really asking for it, then we don't need it, but,
Someone wrote it on the poster board too at the public forum, and then another person circled it and said this.
okay.
So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I know it's popular in a lot of towns.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people that go to Putnam, because
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
big dog
Yeah.
park down there.
So do all of your the land trust lands they prohibit dogs?
One trail does permit.
It allows for it.
It has to be on leash.
Okay.
The rail trail, they have the little doggy bags.
Yeah, rail trail allows it.
available.
Yep.
Yeah, it might not even be a matter of like creating a dog park, as it is just like allowing more trails to have dogs.
Mhm.
Well,
And probably most people don't know, first of all, they don't know about the rail trail. Secondly, they don't know that they can bring their dogs there. Boy, you take a dog for a walk on that trail, they're gonna get a good workout.
yeah.
And you are, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, my dog dragging me along. Yeah.
So another survey item was spend more money on the rail trail and get Connecticut to allow a link of New Boston Trail with River Trail off Mill Road.
Yeah,
Good luck.
yeah.
It's not in our lifetime. And I'm including youngsters here.
So that trail on both sides of Dudley does go into Connecticut, and so it's a complete loop if Connecticut built their portion of the trail.
Okay. So it's really just up to them at this point?
It's
Yeah.
never gonna pass.
It's a great idea.
Connecticut's just been, we have no control over it.
Right, we don't.
Okay, so we should take that out then probably. Do you think? Because it's really out of the.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, if we have a dream sequence, it's in there.
Okay.
Is there any value for them to do anything with that? I mean, emphasize the benefit to them and anything?
The
there?
landowners that are involved don't want anything in their backyard.
Okay.
And they have claimed half of the trail, if they both are joined, or this half is mine and that half is his now.
Mhm.
So there's no trail. They go through all kinds of machinations to
Mhm.
keep it down. And
Okay.
we can't control Connecticut politics,
Mhm.
so.
Mm. Nor Massachusetts politics either.
Yeah, it's hard enough. Yeah.
Control that, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably take it out, Sam, I think,
Alright.
yeah.
It hurts, but I'll do it. So just a general goal of, it's an action item of connecting and maintaining trails.
Sure.
And a lot of these things we can do incrementally. The new, when Stevens finishes their mill work and apartments go in, then there'll be a walk along the river, and that's part of the deal.
Mhm.
And that can then go over the bridge and connect to the walk along the
Mhm.
river in
Mhm.
Webster.
Mhm.
And each time you get a little piece of that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
then you look for the next one.
They add up.
But sometimes there's a decade in between.
Sure.
Connect the dots.
Yeah, you just
Mhm.
hope that it'll continue
Mhm.
further.
Sam, I think what I'd like to do is maybe stop here.
Okay.
And, you know, I did prepare a map that shows a lot of these concepts, so I'd just like to hand this out briefly. We'll talk about it briefly, and then we can go on our way and continue this at our next meeting.
I do have one question.
Sure.
The rail trail,
Mhm.
is that fully connected right now? Like, the desired parts of that in town?
No.
The two sections in town are built, are completely built, the two sections in town,
So it,
but it doesn't connect in Connecticut.
Connecticut, well, it comes from Southbridge, okay, it comes all the way through Dudley,
Okay.
then Connecticut like loops up, and the railroad used to go through Connecticut and back into Dudley again. So
that-
it's that section.
Yeah, so Sam, it used to, you know,
Isn't connected.
But in Dudley, it's connected though.
yes, it's all built in Dudley.
As much
Well-
as we can have in Dudley is.
Right,
it's
but you've
done,
got
yeah.
gaps.
It's not really connected.
No.
I mean, it just ends and then you pick it up in the other part of town.
Yes,
So it goes along
yes.
roads
But in,
until you get there.
You're on your own to get to the other part.
right.
Because another one of the action items was connect the rail trail.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So that's referring to the portion in Connecticut.
Specific, okay, but not what's in town?
Correct.
Okay.
and then the other part of the trail's down
It
here,
connects into some.
you know,
Yeah,
on
which one?
Schofield Ave.
Right,
It goes all the way.
yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there
And
was
then it
like.
came around and it
paper mill, if
goes down here.
stops.
So I did, we've talked a lot about trails, so I did indicate on here two other trails that were actually in an old CMRPC report back in the early 2000s. We have the old Stagecoach Trail,
Yeah.
which runs from Fish Road, sort of through, you know, a lot of backcountry, and then it eventually ends up in Dudley Center.
Is that going through Andrew Levitz's property?
No,
No?
I don't believe so. And then we
I
have.
see the Fish Road reference there.
Right. And then we have the old Grand Trunk Railroad, which was never built, but the railbed was laid. And that sort of goes from the railroad, from the rail trail, and you can see it kind of loops and meanders around. It was never built, of course, and some of it has been built upon. So we need to figure out ways to get around things, but I show this eventually going all the way through Ardlock Acres, and then down into Perryville. But, so
Yeah,
that's,
so the section that goes through the land trust,
yeah,
we're improving that up there, so you
Oh, you are?
can walk through it. There's some signage up there of
Mhm.
how the railroad was built and.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
that's great.
Go back to that Stagecoach Trail for a
Yep.
minute. That's all private property? Private?
There's,
Yeah.
We could
there's
just
a,
pick up so that they.
a right-of-way through there that nobody owns.
The old,
Oh,
So I think there's an opportunity to do something there.
all right, and it
And then
starts.
then it does come into Durfee Road, it goes along the road at Durfee Road, and then it meanders sort of
Just have them go
through
They could
private land.
continue here, right?
So it's
Right
down,
along
it
down.
starts at Fish Road.
Mm-hmm.
There you are, back on the rail trail.
Where was
I
the
mean, you could
stagecoach coming from to
have
get
it
to Fish
set up
Road?
So that you don't
It's
have.
out of Southbridge?
How do I get?
I don't know, good question.
Oh, who knows? Mr. Braniff.
What's that?
Mr. Braniff knew.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not sure where.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's,
Grand Trunk.
I wonder, is that
Developed yet,
walkable?
Yeah.
But it would get you
That would
there.
be a good exercise to get out there, somebody actually walk it now and see
So,
what it's
yeah, we
like.
can add that.
So there,
That
there's a
was
right
be a
of, right
matter
away,
of-
is
Mhm,
so
right.
is it, I wonder, is
construct
it
the Grand Trunk
obvious
Trail.
that this is a trail? I
Mhm.
mean, you're just walking in the woods and
Yeah, I don't know what shape it's in.
there's nothing there as a sign to.
I think it would take a lot of work
Yeah,
to
no,
make
I
this
don't
trail
think that,
happen. I'm not saying it's there
Which
and
one
ready
you
to
guys
go.
I'm just kinda hung up on this old stagecoach trail here a bit, and Bill's saying that there is, some kind of an easement apparently, or
Mhm.
you could get through it and get to it. What it looks like in terms of, you know, is it old?
It's been
woodlots?
kind of abandoned, I think, is probably the best way to describe it, so it's a matter of
Yeah, it hasn't been a stagecoach in a while.
bringing it back and actually making it a dedicated trail, which.
That would be, yeah.
That would be a fair amount of work.
Oh, yeah.
But as
Oh.
David said, you know, he's got a portion of it already built, and, you know, Richard, you had talked about this industrial park feasibility study. So where that bullet is pointing is town land, and that we're talking about resurrecting the portion of the trail through town land. So that would be something the town can actually control. And then, we've talked a lot about, I also put down here on the lower right-hand corner, construct Carpenter Brook Loop Trail. And that was an idea that Ken Butkevich had. And he actually applied for funding for that, but it wasn't funded. So I'm, just showing that on the map as another potential trail. And then we've got the French River Greenway, the beach, got the space at the library, canoe, kayak launch, the town commons, Heritage Park, so these are all ideas we've talked about. I'm just trying to identify them on the map. And if you have any other thoughts about, sometimes you look at a map and you get other ideas that you wouldn't otherwise think of. So if you do happen to come up with some new ideas, I can add them here as well. A lot of what we've talked about tonight are more policy-oriented ideas, programs and funding and things of that sort. So these are more specific sites.
It's just undevelopable land.
So that's very inexpensive land, because the assessors claim it's not developable. So I think that opens the opportunity for land donations. I think that's probably how the land trust gets a lot of land. People get older, their kids have grown up and moved away and they don't want it.
Absolutely.
So they figure, well, let's donate it.
There's a lot of that in town.
Yeah. So you see, I've highlighted some of that as the acquisition priority area circles. I think sometimes it's a phone call saying, hey, if you're interested in donating your land to the town or to the land trust, we'd be happy to take it. Then you don't have to pay taxes on it anymore.
That's what happened with the Watkins property.
That's right. That was kind of what sparked that idea. Say, we've got a couple pieces there already, got another piece, some private land up there, which doesn't seem to have much value.
We had all this, we'd be the rail capital of Massachusetts. Trail capital of Massachusetts.
And the Grand Trunk Railroad Trail, it's a rail trail, so it would all be flat land as well, right?
It was never built.
Yeah.
The railroad was never built. It was planned out.
Yeah.
It was a real railroad that was being built and,
It just went to fund.
yep.
Okay. So is the land leveled yet, though?
No.
It's not?
Well,
A lot of it
Sections
is, yeah,
of
a
it,
lot of it
yeah.
is.
In
It's
spots, you
graded.
can see where it's like
Yeah.
dug in like that, and then there's
mean,
like an
it's-
old rail bed.
right.
It's interesting how they built it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there
they-
used to be a piece of it behind my house.
Oh,
So they made these big
no, really?
Mm-hmm.
and then they
How do you get up there?
brought fill in and backfilled it. So if you go on our property and walk this trail section, you can look down hundreds of feet where they, instead of, breaking down mountains and whatnot, they just went over them, or rivers or whatnot.
Or they went right through.
Yeah,
There-
If you
yeah.
go on Lions Road,
yeah.
you can see a
Yeah.
big
Another
spot of
section,
it,
yeah.
another section of it.
Hmm.
And then there's other parts that were just like a
Just
flat
flat,
bed,
yeah.
and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's throughout the whole town.
Mm.
Yeah, there are abutments all over the
Yeah.
place where
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just gonna come over.
Cause
over
at one
the
time,
road.
this was a big train depot area.
Mhm.
So
Most of
it's
it.
viable to still convert that to a rail trail, even though the railroad didn't get built yet?
Yeah, very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the investors, as the legend goes, were on the Titanic.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's sometimes called the Titanic Trail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Might
And
have
then-
down with them.
when that went down, the whole Grand Trunk Railroad went down.
It's a book.
And by the way, Southbridge is building out their portion of the rail trail. It's going all the way into downtown Southbridge, so
Oh.
that'll be a very long distance trail when they finish their section. I think they got a $2 million grant to do that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Big money. So, I think I don't know if they started yet or they're still in design, but it'll be nice when that's done too. So that'll link up with,
Would they
So
get the-
cross right over where the Golden Greek, this is the regular rail trail we have. Just
Mhm.
cross over there, and then
Right.
it's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Where'd they get state money?
Federal money, I believe.
Federal money?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was an EPA grant.
Oh,
Wonder if it connects to the one out near Westville Dam.
Oh, I don't know. Well, those are other trails
Yeah, those
that
are
are, I don't know
trails.
if they're all gonna link up together. It'd be nice if it did.
Excuse me.
Well, I know I don't wanna keep you too late. Does anybody have any other thoughts before we break up? And Sam, I like the schedule. I think, we can make that happen and try to get this plan wrapped up in May so that
Yeah.
we can get approval and continue with our grant writing work.
We will need some more time to dedicate, I think, to the remainder of the action items, or we'll need to go like a bit faster
Okay.
than we did this time when we were going through them.
Do you want to send it out to us in advance so that we could
Yeah,
Be-
let's do that.
be prepared and,
Okay.
try to be a little bit more efficient? I know we were kind of, brainstorming tonight.
just a thought, is there some way we could plug that in so that, I know you've got great visibility to what you're looking at, but we could see as we were going through those things?
Yeah, we'll need an HDMI cord.
I think we can.
We've got all
Well,
that stuff here.
We've
You
done
want to
that
do that
before.
now? like
Yeah,
next-
not
next-
now, but I mean next time
meeting,
around,
right,
yeah.
yes. We have the click share. We don't
Use
need the
that as a
HDMI
nice
cord.
big screen in back of us.
Right.
Oh. I like this little map.
And Alicia, thank you for coming tonight.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I'm glad we had some
Exciting
representation from your committee. You gave us a lot of good ideas.
So you drew the short straw and you're coming here? Oh.
And so, we're always open to ideas from your group. If you
Okay.
want to convey anything to us,
Yeah,
feel
definitely.
free.
All
Okay.
right, great.
I will accept a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
When do you meet?
Good meeting.